Who do you think is going to win between Alex and Gane?
Ooh, let the better win. But I believe Alex can do that. When I saw him, like, his weight is going up. He's strong enough to, and in stand-up, I believe he will be better. But Gane is a lot of movement.
Who do you want to fight next after this one?
Let's be focused for the next week. That's the problem of many fighters when they think too much earlier.
But who is the contender, the next contender? Still alive?
I really don't care.
You have a very soothing voice.
Thank you, thanks.
He moves a lot, he's fast and this, and I think Alex Pereira will be like most stiff, stable and strong, solid. Ciryl will be more fast, moving around, as is his technique. He's good at that. And then it's going to be very difficult to Alex Pereira to even get close to the distance to figure out what he can do, like just to get in the distance, you know, to get close to that, to close that distance, which Ciryl will be managing very good to keep the distance, pick apart, get him frustrated. He's good at that. So I think he's a very good matchup for Ciryl.
And Volkov has good technical ability on the feet, and he beat Ciryl Gane in their last fight and did very well on the feet against him as well. So when he finds someone who can really cut off the cage like Pereira and really punish him, Gane hasn't got the first round finish ability that Aspinall does to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira. He also doesn't really have the offensive wrestling game to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira either. He could get it done. He has good backwards movement. He floats around well on the back foot. He does it better than Jamal Hill, if we're being honest. Gane is one of the rare heavyweights that actually really does have a good technical base for the heavyweight division. He just lacks that KO power and lacks that ability to just nuke someone in the first 2 minutes. He's never really been able to do it throughout his entire career. And I would, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that Gane has got a first 2 minute of the fight finish like a guy like Aspinall or Ngannou has. But Pereira should win this one, I think.
I mean, who else is going to fight, though? The division's on its ass. So, there's not many big fights to make, is there? So, got to do what they got to do. Ciryl Gane, Alex Pereira. Obviously, I'm going to fight the winner of that. So, just waiting now to be given the green light, the all clear from the doctors to start training properly again. As soon as we can start training properly again, full contact in the gym, we will be getting a fight date booked to fight the winner. So just waiting for the clearance to be medically cleared now, and then we go. We'll be looking to book a fight as soon as possible.
Heavyweights, but Ciryl Gane, in his DNA, is a gigantic, bona fide, legit heavyweight that just so happens to be very, very light on the feet, incredibly fast, can move around, you know, all over the place, shaking and baking, jigging and jiving, moving and grooving, whatever else you want to say, right? Yeah. I think that's a big advantage in this fight here.
Yeah, that's the thing. He kicks so well too. He's not just a guy that's going to be some lumbering heavyweight. I think there's a lot of heavyweights on the roster that Pereira would hands down easily just go out there and KO to death, no problem. This one is a challenge, and I think that's what entices him. Whether it was going to be Jones or whether it's going to be Ciryl Gane, you're going for that third belt. If he gets it.
Ciryl Gane versus Alex Pereira is now set in stone, and the MMA community finds itself genuinely split on how this heavyweight clash unfolds. One faction envisions Pereira advancing with his signature intimidating aura, systematically trapping Gane against the fence before landing one of his trademark fight-finishing strikes. The opposing camp believes Gane's superior footwork, mobility, and distance control will create uncomfortable angles that disrupt Pereira's rhythm throughout the contest. No overwhelming consensus exists among experts. No universally agreed upon favorite emerges from the discussion, which creates fascinating debate potential around this booking. This represents a legitimate collision between contrasting fighting philosophies, two completely different methodologies for succeeding at mixed martial arts elite tier.
I don't think he gets past Ciryl Gane. I think that weight is real. Could he 100%, in particular in that division. But nobody has really finished Ciryl Gane, and his movements is very problematic. Pereira also does get hit tomorrow. Now, can you take a heavyweight's punch? Now you're talking about Francis Ngannou power? A real big heavyweight?
You are right, Henry. Ciryl Gane is no slouch. When he was fighting Tom Aspinall, we saw how that fight was starting to look. But listen, I think this is a fantastic fight. I'm not counting anyone out here. I'm not counting Alex Pereira out here because Alex Pereira does have the power to really change things. We felt this way when Alex Pereira said he was wanting to go to light heavyweight. Now he dominated that weight class.
Francis Ngannou views Pereira as the more imposing physical specimen, possessing greater strength and base stability to absorb incoming damage. However, he emphasizes a crucial detail many observers might miss about Ganjin's approach to heavyweight competition. Ganjin operates like someone from a lighter division, maintaining exceptional mobility that defies his actual weight class while constantly repositioning to avoid extended exchanges. Ganjin identifies distance management as the pivotal factor determining this fight's outcome. Pereira requires close proximity to unleash his devastating hooks and kicks that terminate contests, but Ganjin excels at maintaining spatial control and forcing opponents into exhausting pursuit patterns around the octagon. This tactical approach could significantly slow Pereira's offensive output while creating mental frustration if he cannot establish proper positioning to access his most dangerous weapons.
It's gonna be an interesting fight, though. I think Alex Pereira is very tough. He's big enough. He's a heavyweight. But in this scenario, the position shifted a little bit because Ciryl Gane here come more with a strategy of a lighter person because he moves a lot. He's fast and I think Alex Pereira will be like most stiff, stable, and strong, solid. Ciryl will be more fast, moving around, as is his technique. He's good at that. And then it's going to be very difficult to Alex Pereira to even get close to the distance to figure out what he can do. Like just to get in the distance, you know, to get close to that, to close that distance, which Ciryl will be managing very good to keep the distance, pick apart, get him frustrated. He's good at that. So I think he's a very good matchup for Ciryl.
Francis strongly disputes any characterization of Gane as a one-dimensional striker lacking additional skills beyond stand-up combat. He emphasizes Gane's years of dedicated grappling development, consistently improving his ground game through extensive mat time that exceeds public perception. Gane Rowe references their previous encounter where Gane attempted various ground techniques, demonstrating competence in unfamiliar positions while showing clear development potential that he has continued building upon. Facing elite competition exposed specific areas requiring improvement, which Gane has systematically addressed through focused training camps. According to Francis, dismissing Gane as limited in his overall skill set would constitute a significant tactical error that could prove costly for Pereira if he enters the contest unprepared for multifaceted threats.
Well, we will not undermine the fact that Ciryl also is doing it. He's training. He's been very serious on his ground game. He's been involving. He's been improving. Like, by the way, even in our fight 4 years ago, I was impressed that he was trying the heel locks, you know, stuff like that. I know that was something that he could have come up with, but I was still impressed at time. And since then, I think also after the John fight, he went to Dagestan on this wrestling stuff. I think it's a very complete MMA fighter. I think you will be mistaken to just see him as a striker, as this. The fact that he's just such a good striker make people underestimate his ground game and oversee his ground game, you know.
MMA Guru maintains firm conviction that Pereira's pressure application differs fundamentally from anything Gane has previously encountered throughout his heavyweight tenure. Guru suggests Pereira's aggressive methodology transcends simple forward movement, instead involving systematic space elimination combined with an aura of imminent danger that creates suffocating fight conditions. Gane typically controls engagement timing through his preferred movement patterns, staying elusive on the back foot while selecting optimal striking opportunities. Guru argues Pereira will not permit Gane to execute this evasive strategy for extended periods across multiple rounds. The Alexander Volkanovski comparison proves particularly relevant here, as Gane successfully controlled their encounter through reach and movement advantages, yet Pereira presents far superior finishing ability compared to the former featherweight champion. Guru notes Gane lacks early knockout threat capability to instantly shift fight momentum, meaning extended striking exchanges under constant pressure become inevitable if wrestling remains absent from the equation.
Amazing. I'm leaning towards Alex Pereira here to get it done against Ciryl Gane. I think he's going to be too much on the front foot, track the cage. I don't think Ciryl Gane's going to be used to a guy with the skill level of Alex Pereira. He's never fought someone with that ability in his life. And Volkov has good technical ability on the feet, and he beat Ciryl Gane in their last fight and did very well on the feet against him as well. So when he finds someone who can really cut off the cage like Pereira and really punish him, Gane hasn't got the first round finish ability that Aspinall does to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira. He also doesn't really have the offensive wrestling game to make him a threat to a guy like Alex Pereira either. He could get it done. He has good backwards movement. He floats around well on the back foot. He does it better than Jamal Hill. If we're being honest, Gane is one of the rare heavyweights that actually really does have a good technical base for the heavyweight division. He just lacks that KO power and lacks that ability to just nuke someone in the first 2 minutes. He's never really been able to do it throughout his entire career. And I would, off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that Gane has got a first 2 minute of the fight finish like a guy like Aspinall or Ngannou has. But Pereira should win this one.
Michael Bisping expresses genuine excitement about this matchup, considering it more compelling than the frequently demanded Jon Jones super fight. While acknowledging Jones would create massive promotional value, Bisping predicts that contest would quickly devolve into grappling exchanges that eliminate Pereira's most spectacular attributes. Jones would likely implement wrestling-heavy tactics, slowing the pace dramatically while preventing the explosive striking moments that define Pereira's appeal. The Gane matchup preserves stand-up action where Pereira can access his finishing instincts and create highlight reel moments that resonate with audiences long after the final bell.
Ciryl Gane, Alex Pereira, interim heavyweight title. Right? I thought it was going to be Jones and Ciryl. It's not. Okay. Yeah. I still think it's a tremendous fight. I think in some ways it's a better fight. We said this on the post-fight show. I said it on the YouTube video and people were like, oh yeah, you would say that, company man. No, listen, Jones, it would be a spectacle and it would be great to see Pereira versus Jones. Of course it would. But in terms of, you all just shit and everyone's been shitting on Charles Oliveira taking down Max Holloway. Do you not think Jon Jones would take down Alex Pereira? Of course, that would be the strategy. I'm not saying Pereira can't stop a takedown, but that's what he's going to try and do because on the feet, Pereira could very well knock him out. Well, Ciryl Gane and Alex Pereira, they're going to put on one hell.
Bisping acknowledges the significant size and movement disparity while maintaining respect for Pereira's knockout power and technical precision against heavyweight opposition. He consistently emphasizes Gane's natural heavyweight status, having competed exclusively in this division throughout his UFC tenure with complete comfort at this weight class. Gane's speed and agility remain exceptional for his size category, creating a legitimate advantage over Pereira's weight class transition. While Pereira's upward move generates compelling narrative appeal, practical fight analysis reveals added weight potentially reducing speed and mobility against an opponent already optimized for heavyweight competition at the sport's highest level.
Point. You know, we have weight classes for a reason. There's also a reason why no one's become a 3-weight division champion.
Yeah, it's
he
so
couldn't
hard.
make 185 by almost killing himself. Now he's going up to heavy where it's not. I mean, naturally he walks around as a heavyweight, but he's not naturally a heavyweight fighter. So what will happen? He'll be heavier, which will slow you down a bit. He will have, I think, extra power. I still think he can take the shots. I think he's still got the power to knock out heavyweights. But Ciryl Gane, in his DNA, is a gigantic, bona fide, legit heavyweight that just so happens to be very, very light on the feet, incredibly fast, can move around, you know, all over the place, shaking and baking, jigging and jiving, moving and grooving, whatever else you want to say, right? I think that's a big advantage in this fight.
Paul Felder anticipates greater competitiveness than initial reactions suggest, focusing on round-by-round scoring dynamics rather than highlight reel speculation. Against opponents like Jon Jones, Pereira would spend considerable time defending takedown attempts, working against cage pressure, or recovering from ground positions that neutralize his primary weapons. Gane's striking preference eliminates this tactical disadvantage, creating extended stand-up sequences where Pereira can implement his game plan and access familiar striking ranges. This stylistic alignment provides Pereira with increased opportunities to establish offensive rhythm and execute the techniques that brought him championship success.
Yeah, no, I think you're right with that. That it's definitely going to be a much more competitive, much more exciting affair. Whereas even if Pereira had success against Jon Jones, you're right, a lot of that time would be spent at some point defending some sort of takedown or not defending the takedowns and getting taken down, waiting for his opportunity in the next round to be able to strike. This is going to be a big boys kickboxing in there. We saw how good Ciryl Gane looked when he was fighting Tom Aspinall before the eye pokes. He was landing good shots. He's athletic. He can move. These are two heavyweights that can move and can strike. It's going to be a bang.
Felder maintains realistic expectations about heavyweight transition challenges, refusing to treat this as predetermined outcome favoring either competitor. Moving up weight classes represents massive adjustments in power absorption and size differential management. Heavyweight division members possess fight-ending capability even with imperfectly placed shots, and Gane operates comfortably at this level against similar opposition. While Pereira's technique suggests effective power translation across weight classes, Gane has extensive experience against elite heavyweight power throughout his career. This familiarity with high-level heavyweight competition creates more balanced fight dynamics than casual observation of Pereira's previous highlight performances might suggest.
Get it. This one's surprising. Ciryl Gane, minus 160. It's only a slight underdog, favorite, but still a favorite. Alex Pereira, plus 140. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of accurate. And I think that's a lot of it is we're basing the fact that he's moving up to heavyweight, Pereira. He really started off as a middleweight. Now, granted, he's a much bigger man now, and I don't think there's any world in which he could go back down to 185 pounds. But still, you're going from, I was able to make middleweight to now I'm fighting at heavyweight, where these men are huge. And again, Ciryl Gane is used to the threat of nasty power coming his way.
Oscar Willis focused primarily on card positioning and its broader significance for event structure and audience expectations. Initial speculation about potential main event status felt inappropriate given the overall card composition and existing commitments. However, co-main event placement creates perfect sense within the event framework, adding substantial value without shouldering primary promotional responsibility. This positioning elevates the entire card's appeal while allowing appropriate pressure distribution across multiple featured contests rather than forcing single fight dependency for viewer satisfaction.
I heard this fight was, on Friday I was told this fight was the main event, Ciryl and Alex, and I thought that was honestly a disaster for the White House. I did not like that as a main event for it at all.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like it wasn't on the card at all. And then it was suddenly the co-main. I was surprised by it. And I thought that was a fantastic addition. Like having it as the co-main, I think makes the card. To be honest, it's like the extra fight. I saw Ariel Hawani today, like to have Ilia Topuria and Alex Pereira on the same cards.
Today's analysis examined potential legacy implications for Pereira should victory materialize in this heavyweight debut. Successfully transitioning weight classes and defeating skilled opposition like Gane would significantly enhance his historical standing within mixed martial arts. Such achievements remain rare throughout the sport's evolution, guaranteeing memorable addition to his competitive narrative. However, considerable risk accompanies this opportunity, as Gane's size advantages and technical movement could control fight pace and limit Pereira's explosive moment creation. Extended technical battles might prevent the spectacular performances that define audience expectations and promotional value. Early analysis suggests size and speed combinations could frustrate Pereira's initial game plan establishment, particularly given Gane's unique blend of heavyweight dimensions with lighter weight mobility and footwork patterns. However, skepticism exists regarding Gane's ability to maintain tactical control throughout extended championship distance, with predictions favoring Pereira's late fight adjustments and eventual breakthrough moments. This heavyweight style clash presents Pereira's knockout power against Gane's patient technical approach, creating genuinely unpredictable outcome potential depending on tactical execution from both competitors.